Hello everyone, and welcome to my Days of Our Lives official. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Firstly, let me take this opportunity to briefly discuss Hodgson. I am aware that Days of Our Lives has experienced a great deal over the last 18 months, and this is the third well-known person we have lost recently. Though we were all saddened by their departure and felt a great deal of love for Bill Hayes and John Aniston, their passing wasn't entirely unexpected. We were aware that the two performers were older and had reduced their on-screen time significantly in the previous years. John is irate and chats on the phone. Tate and Marlena Hawley observe with alarm. But John was right in the middle of things until the very end. Yes, after his return from his trip to Greece, we all noticed that he was getting thinner, but none of us ever thought we'd lose him. I suppose that every one of us ought to express gratitude every day for the people and things in our lives. I'm sure it struck me hard. Although I only had a face-to-face interview and meeting with Hodgson once, it was one of the most enjoyable, laid-back, and humorous exchanges I've ever had with an actor, and I will always cherish it. But this is where the shooting schedule for the show truly becomes annoying. Days shouldn't hasten their farewell, especially because the actors and staff are still mourning Hodgson. It's annoying, though, to have to wait at least 8 months to bid someone farewell on TV. Doug's passing hasn't even come up yet Hayes passed away in January. The occurrences on Monday and Tuesday caused me further problems this week. Imagine that you were a devoted fan of Days of Our Lives who had recently learned about Hodgson's passing and had not seen the show in a long time. Perhaps on Monday or Tuesday, you tuned in for the first time in a long time to see what was going on and maybe catch a glimpse of John before he passed away, which, regrettably, was almost a month ago. You received whole episodes focused on body and soul in place of Days of Our Lives, and you may have thought, no, I'm not going to get back into this. A Monday airing for Wednesday's program would have been much preferable. In it, Kristen pledged to rescue Brady from prison while he struggled with the revelation of Sarah's deceit. Brady even spoke to her deceased father, telling him that although John was always his worst enemy, she could not stop loving his son. Then there was Holly and Sophia's argument, Xander and Eric's confrontation at Titan, and Fiona and Sarah's tearful conversation, complete with all the undertones of Fiona paralyzing her daughter-in-law. It would have honored John, drawn in viewers who hadn't been paying attention, and encouraged them to do so. Rather than Bonnie Hattie was let go. New directions and rewrites. In keeping with that, I believe we're starting to witness how the show is changing in John's absence. I enjoy how EJ and Xander despise Eric, and he's made enemies of both the DeMoros and the Kiriakises. For taking off with Nicole, EJ, and for attempting to save Brady, Xander. However, I don't believe that this is what was intended to occur. The official autumn peak for the show hinted that John would discover the truth about what transpired with Brady. However, it appears that Eric was replaced in that capacity by Greg Vaughn following Hodgson's illness and death. They were unaware, as Eric Martsolf revealed earlier this week, that Hodgson's final moment as John would involve Brady being welcomed home. Sadly, he never made it back, as much as everyone had hoped, and the narrative probably had to be changed to accommodate his absence. Eric steps in at this point. It did seem strange to bring him back so quickly after sending him away, but now that they've placed him in a very dramatic situation between two wealthy, vengeful, and powerful families. It kind of makes me hope that they would continue down this path and eventually make him compelling enough to draw in new viewers. Although Eric isn't a clear heir to John's legacy and nobody will ever be able to replace him, he might play a similar role and begin running into problems and fighting with the bad guys. The bad folks, that is. Why not? After all, Marlena was exorcised by both of them, priests. However, until they destroy the happy ending he and Nicole received and split up, they are unable to bring him back full-time. Ultimately, I don't think Nicole will ever return unless they cast her differently in the wake of Ariane Zucker's lawsuit. On the other hand, Tony appeared to be permanently gone as well, and Theo Panglis is returning the following year with a ton of favorites. It is what I said at the outset. Days has gone through a lot in the last few years, and I believe the changes it's making to the show are still being felt. Bewildered and perplexed. Alright, so the Greens should be dead, but Clyde says he's holding their mother captive. And since the kids only believe that it's between them and Mark, where does the anonymous Abigail fit in? Do they not know they have a sister? I know they reportedly didn't identify her with Mark since she had plastic surgery, but where has she been that they didn't even acknowledge her as being either a part of their family or someone they lost? Now that Mom and Dad are gone, it's just us and Mark, Felicity and Aaron said. I feel as though I'm in the midst of the clue scene where everyone is wondering why Mr. Body was carried into the bathroom following his second murder. Tim Curry answered, to cause confusion. And at this moment, I really am Mrs. Peacock. It worked, since I'm really perplexed. However, I'm not sure if it's just a complicated story or if they're deliberately attempting to cause confusion, and we'll finally find out why. In addition, Mark and his sister think Clyde is their mother, even if he is tricking Chad into believing Abigail is real? Please. He's going to give them back a complete stranger and tell them she suffered from amnesia and plastic surgery following the collision. Mommy is here. Dr. Rolf made a miraculous discovery last week, a serum that has the potential to transform lives, both in Salem and beyond. Brady's Liberation Serum was the bargain that Kristen brought to Xander. Next, when Xander suggests that Sarah try Rolf's newest regeneration serum to help her walk again, she is a little skeptical. She sobs as Xander asks her if walking once more wouldn't be worthwhile. Xander glares at Kristen from across his desk. Hattie is told to board the elevator and descend the shaft by Johnny, who is gathering the cast and crew of Body and Soul at the hospital to record a new episode. I don't want to die, she sobs. Bonnie's character had a glimmer of hope last week when it was revealed that a rare flower could cure the fatal illness she had contracted. That sounds familiar, The lead character on the show, Hattie, is currently being written out. More mayhem ensues on the set when Johnny discovers someone playing about in the bed after being informed he probably doesn't want to enter one of the rooms. Stephanie runs into the sweaty, shirtless Alex again at a steamy moment. When he shows up at her door looking like this, she can hardly contain her smile. When Abigail saw her other siblings last week, Felicity saw something a little familiar about her, but her other siblings didn't remember her because of the plastic surgery. Watchers also discovered that their mother was still alive and that they were assisting Clyde in trying to save her. Next, Abigail makes a marriage proposal to Chad while they are visiting Paris. Mark is astounded when he visits Clyde in jail in the interim. You want me to kill Chad? He gasps. Clyde smiles and nods. Eric wraps everything up at the end. Declaring, you were with Brady that night, he approaches Fiona. The hit-and-run driver was you. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.